Hello, this is Ben Hollifield, bringing you a follow-up to the demo of the Dynamic Knowledge Search, a previous video. We're assuming you've seen that if you've made it this far. This is for the more advanced users. One of the frequent requests we have received is, how do I do the Dynamic Knowledge Search, implement that on a record producer? The main use case being the ESS portal has a record producer that most of your end users will use to initiate incidents in the system. And users want to be able to give this to their end users so that they can potentially solve the issues on their own without actually having to fully create an incident. So I'm going to walk through how to do that with you right now. So if you don't have this already, the Dynamic Knowledge Search is available on share.servicenow.com. We're assuming you know how to get that and already know how to put it into your system. So we're just going to go straight to implementation. So first of all, let's quickly look at what's happening behind the scenes with the Dynamic Knowledge Search to make it work. There are really only a couple of components. The primary component, one is a script include. If we search for Dynamic Knowledge Search, we can find that. This is what's doing all the processing on the back end. This is also what does the very simple search that's going on against your knowledge base. So this is useful to know if you want to make your search more sophisticated, or if you want to enable this search to bring back things other than KB articles, for instance, related incidents, related CIs. It could really bring back anything you like. That all happens in a script include. It's actually doing the search on the server side. The other component is a client script that exists on the task table, which is what enables the Dynamic Knowledge Search to work on any task-based form in the system. If we search for that, we'll see what it looks like here. Search on Dynamic Knowledge Search. It happens on load. And there's a fair amount going on here. It's basically doing an AJAX call back to the server to call that script include. It's grabbing the value of the short description and passing it in so we can do that search on the fly. So one thing I don't want to do here is we're going to be using this on our record producer. So I'm going to go ahead and copy out the meat of this script. And we're going to carry it over as we implement this on our new record producer. So we have that. Let's go over to our record producers. And you can do this on any record producer, on any service catalog item. It's just slightly different the way you do it. And it's not quite as easy as it is with the form-based. So let's choose Create Incident. That's a popular one we would use. And we'll look quickly at the Create Incident record producer. The important thing is, what variables do we have to work with? Here we have impact and comments. We're going to do this against comments because that's the nearest corollary to short description. So what we need to do first of all is we need to add a new variable where we can actually display the results of this Dynamic Knowledge Search. So we see we have comments at the bottom at an order of 300. Let's create a new variable. And this needs to be a variable of type macro. It's a dynamic variable. So if we choose macro, it's going to give us an option here for what macro do we want to use. Again, it's a Dynamic Knowledge Search. This is another component that the application creates. It's a Dynamic Knowledge Search. We'll call it Dynamic Knowledge Search. And we'll give it an order of 301 right beneath the comments. And that should be all we need. It's actually wanting to get a question as well. So let's submit that. So now we have a macro. That's the container that will hold the dynamically generated knowledge. So secondly, let's do a catalog client script that will actually do the processing. So this is going to be an onload. We'll call it Dynamic Knowledge Search. So then we need to paste our text in here that we just pulled out of our other client script. So a couple of things we need to look out for. One of these is up here at top. We have this gform.isNewRecord. And that is actually making it on a form-based client script to only happen on new forms. In this case, a record producer is going to always be a new form. So we're just going to turn that off. Comment those out. Secondly, we need to make sure that it's actually searching from the correct field. Here we have short description. Now we know our variable in this new record producer is called comments. So we're going to switch that out. And there are going to be a couple more spots in this script where we need to do the same thing. You'll see here we're using short description. Let's change that to comments. Here we're using short description. Change that to comments. And that should get everywhere within this client script where it's referencing short description. Just changing it to comments. So again, all we're doing is changing the variable that it's populating or searching against, pardon me, and then we're also changing this gform is new record, just commenting out the two ends of that statement. So that should be enough. Let's click submit. So now we have a macro to hold the results, and we also have the client script to process the results. So we click try it. This is what our end users will see. They come in and they start typing something like, my email doesn't work. Look at that, just like magic, we got our knowledge articles coming down here. If a user clicks on one of those, it's going to open it up right in this other window. The same behavior as we saw in the previous video on the incident form. So now we're enabling our users to come in, do a search, and potentially find a solution to their problem without ever having to enter in an incident. Clearly a big time saver, clearly very useful. And you could do a similar process to bring this dynamic knowledge search into any of your other record producers or your service catalog items. Thanks a lot. Hope it was useful.